Okay, come on in and have a seat. There's plenty of room up front.
I promise not to make you get up and dance in front of your compadres. Well, it's embarrassing, but you gotta be able to be embarrassed for that to happen.
Don't let me hit anybody here.
Everybody owned it.
Okay, everyone, I'm Jim Furlong. I'm First District Governor in District 25A, and I'm here to introduce another District 25A person. She's well accomplished, and if I read her bio, it'd probably take the rest of the time. So I don't want to do that to her. I'd like to have her come talk to you. This is building fellowship in your club through icebreakers and recognition. And this is session 10, and we're all set to go. This is Joy Robinson. Thank you.
Hold it out of the little holder, they'll now be 5 minutes while I put it back in. So I put together a handout for you because I hate trying to take notes during these things because they're saying so many things and there's so many good points and my carpal tunnel acts up, so we did handouts. But we'll go ahead and get started. First I want to say I love Outline Jeff so much, but without the king, there are no Beatles. And there you go, your first icebreaker. So I put this together. This shows where I was during International Convention in Chicago. And if you've never been in the parade and you've never been in a parade, or you were in a parade and you were in band and you were performing, you didn't get to enjoy it, it's a lot of fun to wave to people. Okay, and if you really want a good icebreaker, you get yourself a leader dog puppy. And boy, I tell ya, that's all they want to do is meet the dog and talk about the dog, and you have a wonderful icebreaker. Leader dog, of which I'm a trustee, is looking for puppy raisers desperately, but that is a fantastic icebreaker if you get the time. This is some of the other things I've done in the community, because many of us, we're not just Lions, we network out. I did a food bank during COVID. I love to travel. I managed to get up to New York City, and this is me getting my master's degree from Dr. Hill in Reno. So we have lots of golden opportunities to do these things. And of course, who doesn't love Star Wars? And now, who can tell me anything about what I just said about me? You don't have to call it out, just think.
Travel.
Just, you don't have to call it out, you can just think. These are the kinds of things that are icebreakers, okay? If somebody tells you something about themselves and you can remember it for even 5 minutes, they get all excited. Remember their name. Anything you can do. You also want to make sure that you look at them. Don't be looking at your phone. Don't be looking around for somebody else to talk to. It always really gets to me when I feel like I'm undervalued, okay? Once you've, started working with somebody, you want to keep it going. And it's all about, not membership, but retention. People leave the club for all kinds of things. They didn't know what they were getting into, or they don't fit. And even after a few years, they'll leave. And you ask them why they leave, and they say, well, I was bored, there are too many meetings, or whatever it is. But basically, it comes down to they weren't engaged. So how can you get them more engaged and more energized? Okay, got the definition of an icebreaker: anything, a game, a joke, or a story. So by using pictures, I'm telling you part of my story through pictures. And according to the internet, they love this. I don't know that I would start talking about stocks and bonds, but retirement, investments, investing in kids, the cost of a college education. Line Jim, you okay up there? Okay. All right. And then here's some of the phrases that we often hear or we think about. And again, I don't ask you to agree or disagree. These are thought points. So we hear about Lions being the world's best kept secret. I'm okay with that. I don't want everybody to be aligned. We work with money, we work with children. I wanna work with people that want to serve. You lean over to your best buddy at a bar and you invite them to an event or a meeting, great, but by the time you sponsor them, you're sponsoring them to the organization. We have a wonderful, what do I wanna say? Reputation for being honest, being careful with money and all of these things. And that's the kind of people we want invested in the club. We want them to participate in the club. They could come and help us out at events. Anybody's welcome to come and help us out at events. But if you weren't in the gambling notification, anybody that's had a felony within 10 years cannot be on the gambling license. It's that kind of thing. It's, you need to be aware, when you sponsor somebody, you're vouching for them to the club. And some of us, and I was one of them, as soon as I got in the door, they were like, you wanna join? I'm like, okay, tell me more about, what you do. It's an honor to be asked. It is not for everyone. And we'll get to more of that a little bit later. As sponsors and New Line Training, once you've got that line in, don't forget, if you're their sponsor, you're going to, that's part of the agreement, is that you're going to help them. You're gonna make sure that they start to meet other people in the club or get involved in certain things, hand over your pancake turner, whatever it is that you need to do. We don't do New Line Training at our club, and I think it's a miss. Our club has some very specific things that we do, and some of the lines think we do enough, but there's always more opportunities. And there's people coming in with skills that we haven't tapped into because we haven't tried to talk to them. And the more I talk to the club members, the more involved it is. And for those of you that aren't aware, I'm unique from some of you in that I've been in more than one club. So in my club, called an N, because we had gotten so small we couldn't be effective, I had to go around and find a new club. And then I went to that club and I asked to join, and they allowed me to. So it's a little bit of a different perspective, working with a club of 5 members and working with a club of 80 members. So I've had to, and this is a club that is a standalone club. They weren't actively involved in the district, and I'm very involved in the district. I'm a trustee, I've been a district officer, and I try and bring that information in, and it's taken some time for them to open up. Then you've got your role of the tail twister. Some of you may think, well, that's the tail twister's job, engagement. Is it a fundraiser or a fundraiser? Mm-hmm. So if your tail twisters there make things fun, great. If they're there as a fundraiser, that can also be great. My club hated me when I was tail twister because I tried to institute fines and nobody wanted to pay. So you've got to be aware. The club that I'm in now hadn't done a tail twister for a few years. The new club president said we're going to have a tail twister, and this is what we're going to do with the money, which made a difference. It's like, we're going to bring down the cost of the Christmas party for us. So I'm going to take money out of your pocket now, cooperate, and this is what the money's going to be used for. And that helped me because I'm like, well, it's not just going into the general fund; it has a specific purpose. And then the tail twister came on, and he said, okay, our #1 fine is gonna be for not wearing a name tag. Again, that makes a lot of sense, because we've got a lot of new members coming in, or we have members that haven't been there in a while, snowbirds, whatever. And if you're not wearing a name tag, it's easy to forget who you are. So by being upfront and, using that situation of where the money's going, what we're doing and everything, it made it a lot easier to fork over funds. From my perspective. So which do you want? Do you want a family type club, which is a small club, people come and help you move, they know everything about you, and you can have that even in a large club? Or you want something like Easter Island? Club members come in, we sit down, we like, these are the modes from last week, yes, they're approved, this is what we're gonna do next, yes, who's gonna do this, who's gonna do that, great, bye. I mean, there are clubs like that. So not everybody's gonna fit in every Lions club. There could be somebody that comes in thinking that they're gonna build relationships and, hey, how are you, and hang around and stuff. But if you have a business club, you have an Easter Island club, not so much. But if you try and have a family club and you have people that, I don't wanna go to a meeting, I'm so tired of going to meetings. or, you know, whatever their situation is, then maybe the club next to them is a better fit instead of the club they're in. I know when I talk to potential new Lions, I always tell them, I said, you don't have to join where you live, you can join where you work, you can join, you know, another local club. I'm not in my local Lions club, you know, I went to one that was close, but that was a better fit for me. There's these two variations on a theme here. One, and we've all heard the Helen Keller's quote, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. True, but then there's the balance. One man can make a difference. So you should never feel you're alone. I mean, some of the things that I'm sharing with you, they're icebreaker examples, but they're also things I don't necessarily share with everybody because everybody has some really strong feelings about what Lionism means to them and what Lionism means to me, and sometimes they connect well, sometimes they don't connect well, but we're all still Lions and we serve the general, we serve purpose. Here's a guy, and I would love for him to be a Lion. To me, he looks like a reject from a Planet of the Apes movie. All right, but you can't assume that about him. You know, his tattooed wonder is also my beloved nephew. And he's a youth minister. And he's a very successful youth minister. He knows his demographic. And I asked him, why are you a Lion? He says, it costs too much. He's the demographic we want. So it's something to consider. I want to take a look around and think not just where you are right now, but where you've been today. Who have you been sitting with? You're sitting with people you know, right? Your club, people you've met from previous midwinter conventions. When you go to your club meeting, who do you sit with? Do you sit with the same guys? Or do you sit with the person that's there without their spouse? They might be feeling a little lost, or the single person, or a person that maybe is newer to the club. Something to think about when you go back in. If you can step out of your comfort zone, that's ice-breaking opportunity. That's going to help energize them, and that's maybe going to make you feel better because, you know, you maybe made a new friend. So can you spend the 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes a week, 5 minutes a month? Can you call a member that's not there? Send them an email, text, check in on them. How are they going? Help them become more energized and live off what you're doing. I came out of a club meeting and we were still we don't participate in a larger organization, and I just was really feeling not attached, not engaged with my club. And I called past district governor, and I happen to have a relationship with, and I said, look, can you just talk to me through this for a few minutes? And he said, look, not everybody is going to feel the same way that you do it every single time that you feel it. So today was a bad day, but you go back, and here we are 8 months later, and the club wanted to honor longevity members, and they bought 3 medal gems. And then I've got another guy coming over to me on the edge going, you did that. I'm like, what do you mean I did that? He said, well, you reminded us that we're part of a larger organization. So I may not have energized them about our town, but about the larger organization just by reminding them, you know, this exists. Because they want to honor members of longstanding that have done a lot for the club. And this is the opportunity. So here's some icebreaker ideas. They're on the spreadsheets. You don't have to write them all down. You don't want to force it. You're not feeling it that day, or you're just a very shy person, whatever it is. People can tell if you're being fake. Be authentic. You can get a wingman. Maybe you and your spouse want to go over to somebody. I know as a single woman in a club, it's mostly men, I tend to be very careful, as I don't want to ever project the wrong energy about why I'm there. Make sure I make friends with the other women who are there that have been there longer, that are single or couples. And, you know, I always have they let me bring the dog, which is one of the reasons I'm in that club. You want to smile. They'll tell you, even over the phone, they can hear the smile. It's true. And when you smile at somebody over the phone, I found that it improves my humor, even when I'm angry at them. If I can smile just for a second, it helps the conversation. Make the eye contact, listen, use their name, use your name. They're not going to remember who your name is either. It helps. Ask them a question, favorite food or pet. You get into the stocks, you get in political, you get religious, no. Do you have a pet? Oh, you're a dog person, fantastic, so am I. Everybody eats, somebody, gotta eat something. And that's one of our, I went to a work event and that was his thing. He's like, everybody has to tell me their favorite food. That was his icebreaker, that was his go-to. When we were in college, some of us, it's been a little bit while, it was always, well, what's your major? That was like the first question everybody asked. I'm like, undecided, I'm just, leaving out there. Alright. And then you have a second section. Meet and greet, lend a hand. So those are individuals. These are from maybe a larger club can do. We were talking about Portillo's. Portillo's does a great job working with nonprofits. And we're talking about, well, having a meeting there outside where it's not quite as loud, or maybe having a donation day. And the guys were asking, they're like, well, we get a cut of the full day profit. And I said, no, you gotta say something. I said, but who says that we can't have a little group out there handing out flyers saying, hey, on your way to Portillo's, could you mention that, you'd like to participate in the Lions fundraiser? We got all day to sit there. A lot of us are retired. We do it when it's nice out. Take turns, work shift, just like Candy did. Say thank you. Share token of appreciation. Look, who got fun gifts for coming to the event? Right? Pens probably could have been used a little earlier in the day, but I did make sure they all worked. So. All right. These are 8 global causes. Pull them straight off the LCI website. I didn't know we were up to 8, but here's your parallel. If you've never heard about the 5 love languages, it's not just about what happens at home or happens at church. We use it a lot at work. We talk about it at work. It's not love. It's you're filling the emotional tank, and everybody's got a different feeling about what works for them. So I went online and I took their little free version of it, and it's acts of service. But you see that it's only 30%. It's like 90. It's only 30. That means depending on the person, different things will work. So physical touch, you've got a handshake. You know the difference between a good touch and a bad touch? Some people come up and you're like, hey, and other people come up and touch you and you're like, it kind of depends. But you got to read the room, you got to read the person and the situation. Acts of service, easy as opening a door. It doesn't have to be, writing a huge check or, spending the day with them at the doctor's, also needed. Right line, Dave? Sometimes we all need help getting driven to the doctors. I depended on the church ladies, but I wasn't a line yet, so. Quality time. I talked about this at a group, and I had a club president say, I just have this line. They just want to talk to me. I'm like trying to run a meeting. It's almost like a Klingon, You just can't shake them. He needed a wingman. I said, get your vice president to, take him off your hands. One of your officers help you out because you need some flexibility. But that person needed some attention. I know I talked to our club president and I asked him, I'm like, are some of these guys, do they need help, Meals on Wheels or something? Because when we have leftovers after dinner, it's like, whoosh, they're gone. These guys, I've seen members occasionally, they'll come and eat and leave, or their plates are like this and they're like this thin. And he's like, no, Joy, they're just frugal. It's okay. It's okay. As long as that works. Words of affirmation. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm sorry. I was wrong. These are the most powerful phrases in the English language. They cost us nothing. Okay? And receiving gifts. Again, it doesn't have to be a big thing. Pen. We're after lunch. You need a little sugar bomb. Got that. No problem. And the stickers, of course, remember to ask one at all times. And I'm doing pretty good on time here. So, not yet. We still have to move over to the awards, and this is one of my favorite slides.
Okay.
MTV Music Awards. Get it? Okay. We gotta approach everybody. LCI has a lot of different awards. Another thing that was brought up to me to ask to talk about. And I caught these straight off of our website. Membership keys, the chevrons, member sponsor, the Melvin Jones, Lions University. I beg you to consider Lions University if you have not. It is free. We keep saying Lions has some of the best training in the world. I can't find it on the Lions website. I'm sorry. It kills me. But Lions University is very easy to get on. And it's just the way the people that are doing the instructing, the stories that they have, the lessons they have to teach. And again, it costs you nothing. It's just like listening to a podcast. And then if you want to answer the questions at the end, great. If you don't, okay. Can you get your degrees without going to US Canada? No, but the education is still there. One of the lessons that I learned that was very, very important said, when you invite a speaker and they say, how long do I have? You don't say, however long you want. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Give them a time so that they know they're going to be cut off, because very few of our membership has the capacity, like kindergartners, hey, this was the high points, let's move on to the next thing, or lunch, or dinner, or the bar, or wherever it is we're going to go. We've got our time frame. And this is I took pictures of the keys. I mean, I've never seen anybody wearing these, but again, a lot of them are kind of on the small side. So, who knows what you can see. And I'm sure not everybody's wearing theirs all the time. If you've never seen a Melvin Jones plaque, this is mine. And again, for me, I didn't get this presented to me at a big forum, public forum. You can, but again, the 5 love languages, that's not the attention I needed. To me, it was the achievement. I qualified for it. I applied for it. I filled out the form. They sent me the plaque. For those of you that don't know, they won't include your title. I wanted zone chair in there. I got a little ZC added at the end. I kind of squiggled that in there since they don't do titles. I'm hoping all of you know what a Melvin Jones is. If you don't, we could talk later. And I included the letter because I feel that this letter is really moving and important, and I can't make it big enough for me to read. But the letter itself still brings me to tears every once in a while when I open the box and read it, because I kept it. And again, they are progressive, so you have bigger and more expensive pens with jewels and colors and all kinds of fun stuff available to you, should you be progressive Melvin Jones. And these are achievable by individuals. And you don't have to donate $1,000. You can fundraise it. Candy bar sales, t-shirt sales. I found, and here's a preview, I'm going to bring this up next year when I'm Top Dog Leader Trustee. I found a place that wants old yearbooks, signed ones. They don't care. So I'm going to bring that to the district and ask them to, clean out their closets if they're ready to give away up their yearbooks. And we're going to turn them in for money for Leader Dog. So there's different ways to raise money other than just out of your own pocketbook. If you look around, recycle aluminum cans, stick it in a jar, whatever it is, to get the money. It is possible. We also have awards from the state projects. ISVBI has their vase, and I'm going to say it wrong, so I'm not going to pronounce it. Speech and Hearing has an award. Leader Dog, the plaques have been retired, and I just found this out recently, anybody that's been donating and getting banner patches from Leader Dog for donations, those were also retired. And I asked them why. Apparently, they were asked by International to come up with more environmentally friendly awards, and they haven't done it yet. So you can sponsor a puppy for $500, and they'll send you, a stuffed dog, a certificate, what have you. Or you can do bricks. They're expecting to have something later on, but for right now, the plaques are done. But again, these are achievable by the individual as well as the club. And the W.P. Woods Foundation has it. Again, this is mine. Wentworth State Fair. It only took 1 year of state fair. You go, they find you a place to stay, you work multiple shifts at a time, and there you go. It's not necessarily something that's going to cost you, a fortune out of your own pocket. It can, if you ever eaten at the state fair. But, you know, it's a vacation. The Indiana Distinguished Lions Award, again, this is something that your club would put you in for, or you can put somebody in. My first experience with it, I was at state convention, and they mentioned Lionel Gonzalez, and I was sitting there going, is it my Lionel Gonzalez? Because there could be other people with that name, and they didn't announce the club. And I went up and I talked to the presenter later, and he said yes. His wife had put him in for it, not the club. She hadn't told anybody because she didn't know if he was going to win or not. So it comes with this lovely plaque that I picked up and took home for him. And this is one of our past district governors in A-Line, Margaret. She won during COVID, so she has a brick with her name. That's, Lion Andy Dybel. He's still involved in the foundation. But we do have some foundation people here today. If you have any questions on that. And then you get down to other awards. You go to a class. I went to training for presidents, club presidents, and won awards. Or again, you've got your 5 love languages. Some people need an award. It does not mean that you need to do a lovely certificate of appreciation, which is all this is. I didn't do anything. It's just Lionel, our club president, wanted everybody to get an award at the end of the year dinner. So he made these certificates and handed them out. If you didn't have any other award, you got this. Okay? It doesn't mean you should do that for everybody. But if you've got somebody that you feel's done a lot for the club and they aren't getting anything else and you want to do a certificate for them, or you're like, I'm pretty sure that they would really appreciate it. So let's do it to feed their emotional tank so that they can become more of a giver. That's an option as well. All right. And with that, we've come to the end of our presentation. If you would like to reach out to me, you want to copy the presentation, I have a new Lions orientation. If your club doesn't have one and you want one, I'm happy to share mine. You can email me and ask. And if anybody has any questions, we've got almost 15 minutes. How about that? Sure.
There's also a speaker's certificate that you can give. I already have an outside speaker. Some of those people really appreciate that
They do.
because you go back and visit them and they've got it hanging up in their office.
Mm-hmm.
And it's available through Lions International. I think they're about $5 for a pack of 10 or something like that.
Or another person comes in their office and they see it and they ask about the award that this person won and they tell them about Lions. And this is the kind of grassroots marketing that we cannot buy. Anyone else? Yes?
Joy, I was going to mention that our club has a Melvin Jones committee, because we also do a lot of donating, and so we, as a club, usually have 1 to 2 a year. And the people are really touched by it when it comes from us.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it really makes a big difference to them.
Yeah, we did 3, and Munster hasn't done any for a while, and they're 35 years of service or more. And the club president decided that's how he wanted to honor their longevity of service. They've participated, in multiple events. They should be honored. And they were, all 3 of them, I wouldn't say moved to tears, older gentlemen take a lot, but they were all seemed very excited. And the chevrons, and the little H chevrons that come off your pen, I took the packet, handed them over to the club secretary, and I wasn't expecting much, and he went to hand them out. You would think it was The Price is Right, come on down. The way these people were excited to get their letter saying you've achieved your 5-year, your 10-year, whatever it is. Some people just, and it wasn't a big thing, it was just a small thing, but even though we're not in Lions for awards, it's nice to get some recognition even from other Lions once in a while. Yes.
In connection with that, for those that are either going to be district governors or interested in being district governors, be sure to give that chevron those are significant to the recipient. They are sent to the governor And sometimes the governor will keep it thinking that, oh, they're eventually gonna get to that club and they'll make the presentation. We had a 50-year lion who had one of those chevrons coming, and the governor did not get to us, didn't mail it to us, came after that lion had died.
Yeah, it's important. Governors are important. Yes.
Actually, International is not getting the chevrons out until we've visited Akbar, done the official visits. But I mailed them all out in the clubs that I've been to, and, it's up to the International, that they should get it to us before.
Anyone else? Yes.
Our club, well, the membership committee came up with a compassionate lion. So if someone's sick or someone's in the hospital, we have a designated person, so they call them.
Yeah, that's
I actually
fantastic.
volunteered for it, it's like, yeah, we need that. So I send out cards, I make calls, well, cards with stamps going up, those aren't so much. But I do calls, and people love the calls. You know, just, hey, I'm thinking of you, and, oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much for calling. So
That's fantastic.
yeah.
Anyone? Going once, going twice? Like I said, feel free to shoot me an email if you need any follow-ups. I'm happy to share what information I have. And thank you very much for coming.